Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about uncurling trading cards. So I don't know if how many of you have ever tried to uncurl your trading cards or had a lot of trading cards that were very curled. What do I mean by curled? Cards that are like this, or generally like this. This is more of a valley and mountain, as you'll see in the article. So, and this is just a land, but a lot of especially cards like Commander Legends, some of the Pokemon promos and whatnot I've gotten from Walmart would have this large curl to it, right? Well, the way to fix a lot of this from this YouTube channel I found was to take a giant cup like this, and this is just like your standard promotional movie theater cup. Like, I think the current ones as of this recording are like for Batman at probably AMC or at Malco, which is near us. This would be the one I was using is an old Aquaman one from Cinemark from many years ago. And essentially what it is you take painter's tape around a penny sleeve and you wrap it around. So obviously this is sticky, but it's painter's tape, so it's more forgiving. And you would gently put it into there and you tightly put it there. Now the painter's tape does eventually give, so I had some additional tape here. But what this would do is it would take the card and it would stretch those dry fibers that were the cause of the curling, and it would essentially forcefully uncurl the card. Well, as you can imagine, forcing it isn't the best way to deal with trading cards. Generally, you would want to be after a more gentle way of uncurling these. And that's really been a topic of discussion I've noticed for many years. How can you deal with curling trading cards? So I found a website, and I found this on one of my Facebook groups, and this has just been an absolutely revolutionary way of dealing this. So let's go over to the webpage and take a look. So this comes from soranews24.com from, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Ona McGee, on February 23rd, 2022. Then how to fix damaged trading cards quickly and easily. So as you can see here, they have a container, a little beaker, some paper towels, and curling cards. And these are Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So this is a no-fuss hack from Japan. Will restore your collectible cards like magic. There's nothing worse than taking out your hard-earned collection of trading cards only to find they become warped. How can you expect your Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh dragons to perform when they're not looking their very best? The warp that affects trading cards, known as Yamasori or mountain warp in Japan, due to the way they rise in the middle like a mountain peak, is often caused by dry air conditions, particularly in winter. However, thanks to a handy hack shared by Twitter user Tetoro-san at Tetoro-san 2021, recently warped cards is something we'll never have to worry about again. All you'll need to resuscitate your cards and breathe new life into them are the following 3 items: a wet tissue or sponge, a resealable container, and a small cup or beaker that fits into the container. So as we went over, once you've gathered those items together, simply place your warped cards into the container, then pop the wet tissue or sponge into the cup or beaker and stand it inside the container next to the stack of cards. Then seal it all with the lid and you're done. You want to make sure no water leaks out onto your cards, which is why the cup or beaker is necessary. So you see here how they have it in the cards. You can see here you have quite a bit of curling. Leave the container as it is for a day, and the cards will become beautifully flat on their own, as if by magic. And here they are, flatter. The method is so hands-off, it really does appear to work like magic, but it's the moisture from the wet tissue that's the true invisible wizard here, working to unshrink the cardboard, which is essentially the cause of the mountain warp, or curling. You don't want to leave your cards in the container for too long, though, as too much moisture might cause them to warp in the other direction in what's known as tanisori, or valley warp. If that happens, though, all you'll need to do is add a desiccant to help decrease the moisture levels and bring them back to normal. And a desiccant, essentially, it's those gel packs that you see in like a pill bottle, like vitamins or whatnot. And you see them in a lot of other things. And It's just essentially to keep it dry. It just absorbs water. So if you want to save one of those, obviously don't eat it, and put it in there, that should essentially remove moisture as well. Tolerasan's hack for unwarping cards proved to be so popular online it received over 40,000 likes and 16,500 retweets. And here you can see the Twitter thread. People were quick to heap praise. It really is a wonderful morsel of mame chiseki, or bean knowledge, as such tidbits of information are known in Japan. So we ultimately be filling this knowledge for any... Okay, so essentially, let's find out if this works. So... the next video is all going to be hand recorded on my phone, and I'll come back at the end for some final thoughts. And in the meantime, welcome to Stormblessed Games. Okay, so I found this on a Facebook chat about a way to undo Pringles. And what I mean by Pringles are, especially with foil cards, where if the humidity has been low, you get this warping. It was especially bad with some of these promos for Pokemon. Nightfall was really bad. That one's not even probably the worst. Here's a Dark Watchers. Look at that. And then some magic ones like Commander Legends is notorious for being Pringled. And even some Core 21 here. Look at that. Look at how bad this guy is. I mean, let's take a look at this. Look at the height on these guys. See, there's some of the Flesh and Bloods weren't as bad, but they still Pringle a little bit. And then even these card fights Pringle just a little bit. Not the worst, not like some of these magic ones do. When I look at the height, you can look underneath that just about. So the way this works is you take a beaker, a cup, something of the sort. This is essentially a measuring glass I just found at Walmart for a couple bucks. You wet some paper towels and you put them into a container, and you put the wet paper towel in here like that, and you put all the cards all together over here, and then you seal it and you leave it for 8 to 24 hours or so, and supposedly it will undo the pringling that you can see right there. Pardon the mess, this is my daughter's bathroom. So I'm gonna it doesn't say whether it needs to be warm or not. This is all just cold. So I'm just gonna not make it sopping wet, but just, damp. And we're gonna put it right in there. I don't know how many to use, so we're just gonna do the one, and we'll do a few tests and take a peek. Okay, and so here's the wet paper towel, and again, I don't know if this is going to be enough or if I need to do another one. You can see here the cards are in there, Pringles and all, just to try and prevent condensation. Let's move them maybe a little to the corner. I'm not sure. It's not an exact science, this, I don't think, yet. So I have another method that I know works, but it is March 2nd, 1 a.m., 1:10. So here we go. You can see it's in there. there is clearance up there. It doesn't have to be much, just enough to... Essentially what we're doing is we are humidifying the air in here to get the cards, the fibers of the card to loosen back up. And I don't know, the Commander Legends all came that way, so I don't know if that's how that'll actually work or not, but I will be back at this desk by 9 a.m., if not earlier, and we will take a look. Okay, so it is 8:40 a.m., so it has been 7.5 hours. Has this helped at all? Not noticeably. It could be a couple things. The air too dry. Is this not wet enough? It's still moist. I'm wondering if I need to do more because of the size. Is this... I mean, they're still a little bent, so let's go get more. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is we have a second one, right? I'm not gonna wring that out. I'm just gonna let it sit there. The last one I wrung out, and I wonder if that might be part of the problem. I'll just let it stop dripping. Just a little bit, but I'm not going to wring it out. I'm going to shove it down there. So now this has 3. And let's take it back and see. Okay, so I am starting my work day. Let's make sure this is all dry. Okay. We are going to seal this back up. And let's wait until the end of my work day and see if that is any better. Okay, so it is 11:52, so it's been about 22, 23 hours. Let's take a look here, and we can see those are still somewhat warped. Are they as bad as they were when we first put these in? Did this method work? Let's take that out. Let's take a look at the cards. Okay, so the MetaZoo Wendigo is definitely flatter. Let's see. If anything, that has started bowing the opposite direction, which is one of those things where if hydration gets too much, then we know that'll be a problem too. That is still a problem, but it's also Commander Legends, and these are notorious for coming this way and being terrible. That doesn't look as bad as maybe it used to. What about Nightfall Dark Watchers? It's still bent, or not bent, but curved, but maybe not as bad as it was. Same with this Tiaman, or Teihan. It still has a little bit, but not very severe anymore. This card fight card, it wasn't bad to begin with. If anything, it has gone the opposite direction, which means it got overhydrated. At least, according to what I've read. These, though, are still, these are all Commander Legends. That's just, what is that? That looks like a printer defect. But regardless, and there's an Ikoria in there as well. Those still look quite severe. How about this plow through? No, it still has its same issues. That did not seem to have resolved anything. What about these? These, when I got these Pokemons, they were just, these are promos, and these were terrible. These were terribly warped. And that's not so bad anymore. It's definitely not perfect. I know this is hanging off a little bit, so excuse that, but you can still see under it. But they're not as bad. What about these foil lands? Those don't look nearly as bad as they did, where they were. We'll do a side-by-side comparison on some of these. Now that one got way better. That one's, so maybe Commander Legends just needs more time. And that one got way better too. That one was just, because that came from the same set as, which one? This Kogla. So those came from the same set, but they're in different spots. And this was actually worse. So you can see maybe these perhaps need more time. I'm not positive on that. So it looks like this method is gentle, and it does at least somewhat work. There is the possibility you can go too far and make it bend in the slight opposite direction. But honestly, look at that. It's mostly straight. So we got these in time. And the warning did say on the article, don't let these go for more than 24 hours. So I would say, as far as being gentle, and this is still wet, this was a success. I'm very pleased. For the most part, I didn't have a lot of hope for the Commander Legends, but the fact that this got so much better from where it was at the beginning gives me hope. Okay, so we're now on March 11th. I'm back. These are the worst offenders from earlier in the video. Of course, these were shot days ago, and these are still curled. I've even bought a humidifier since then, and overall it's tended to help the general health of the curling. But these are the worst offenders, and I've been using this method consistently since what, the second, I think, is when I did it, right? Or whatever. Anyway, I've been using this method consistently to fix curling of cards, and it has consistently worked. There are a few times it's even gone over, but I am so impressed, and I've learned a few other lessons since I initially recorded this video. So part of the problem before is that when we put these in, I put a ton in, and I put them all together, so they're just one giant stack. That I've discovered through trial and error, that doesn't work as well. The best way, and you can do it one card at a time, 2 cards at a time, but you can do in this type of box, and this along with, I have 2 sets of these for $3 or $4 at Walmart or whatnot. But so you see here the Pokemon ones, and what I've discovered is that if you add a card in between the layers, and you can do 1 card at a time, you can do 2 cards at a time. That doesn't matter as much, and they don't. The more haphazard, honestly, a little bit the better, I've discovered. You can kind of keep it off of that, but let's see. But this method works wonders. Okay, so you can see here, just the amount of light coming through is kind of crazy, right? Can this get up here better and show? Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Look at all that light coming through out the window, right? Okay. So what we're gonna do is the same thing as before. Gonna tighten this up. We're actually gonna wait about 24 hours. And so 3:12 at about 5-ish p.m. I'm already planning on recording a video, so I will be back about that same time. And let's see how these are doing. Okay, so it's actually a little early, 1:48. So I have this, which kind of tells me what the temperature in the room and whatnot is. You can see overnight to today, it's varied a little bit, but that's pretty typical. 70, 71 degrees, it's not bad. But I wanted to show you, and I added another card that I found because it was actually pretty curled. But let's get that out of the way. So it hasn't quite been 24 hours yet, right? Let's see, there the video goes. And look at how much better those are overall. Let's take them out. If I can do this and show you guys. Okay, so this is actually pretty curled. This is a box topper first edition, but you see how that one is now perfectly straight. These were the ones I showed you before. And look at how much better these are. Now these have obviously had a couple rounds of it, but this gentle method absolutely works. And it is so surprising at just how well it does. All right, so this one still has a little bit, but this is within the realm of acceptability now. For Commander Legends especially. Right, here, let me set this Commander Legends aside. So this was a Kogla, which I even mentioned before was still having issues. Look at that, the camera doesn't want to focus. It is so much better now. And of course, I think like I said before, it's better to do fewer cards at a time. So here's two of them right here, both Commander Legends. And it's just, I don't even have words. I mean, so this one probably is the worst one so far, and is not bad at all. Now you remember these two Pokemon cards. These were crazy at how bad they were. And look at that. If anything, the top one's starting to come up slightly. So the key though is to have a container. And you want a decent container. This is 10 cup, 2.4 liter. And again, I just found this at Walmart for $3-4, and it came in a 2-pack, so I have 2 of them, so I can do more cards at a time. And this was, again, like $2. The key I found is usually I use 2 or 3, and I get them damp. And sometimes there's a small bit of water on the bottom, sometimes not. You can kind of see there's a little bit there, and that's fine. And most of that is just drip from here. I don't actually put water in the bottom, as you've seen. So anyway, and then usually you want to make sure that, I found that if it's slightly warmer, so 70, 71, 72, is the best temperature to get those at. And just look at how flat those are now. The amount of lift on there is very standard for most foils, especially in the common era. And I'm just taken aback at how well this works. So, what do you think of that method? It is absolutely amazing how well that works. Now, I had to do a couple ever so slight tweaks, and I imagine the length of time and whatnot can depend on how much your beaker, or like I used a measuring cup, went, how big or small your container is, how many you're doing at one time, and the temperature as well. So whether hot air will hold more moisture than cold air. And so sometimes it can take longer or shorter amounts of time, depending on the amount of curling. A lot of little itty-bitty factors. So if you want to use this general method, all the materials cost me $8, maybe. And it's not that difficult a thing to do. And so tell me, please try this on your own and tell me what you think. I think this method has completely revolutionized how I deal with curling of cards. If I get an order and it has a card is curled, I can literally throw that in there overnight. And in the morning, it's completely fixed the problem almost every time. And it's now ready for shipping. So if we have issues like that, it has completely revolutionized how we do this. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you've used this before. I thank you so very much for watching. Be blessed.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Be blessed.